Hey guys, I'm here with the second Magic Origins draft on the Nitsuhon Magic channel. I'm waiting for it to fill up and I'll be back when the first pack opens. Alright, let's see what we open. Yavimaya Coast, okay. Not exciting for a rare in the first pack. Thopter Engineer is also very, very good. Those are probably the two best cards in this pack, I would say. The two that are the most first pickable. Blightcaster can be, but I don't like trying to force an archetype right away. You can pick him up and then end up not picking up enchantments. Like, say if white's not open, I'm not going to get suppression bonds. I mean, if white is open, then he's all kinds of value, but maybe, if we're in the black-white archetype, we really want Blightcaster, but I don't think we do. I think we're going to take Cruel Revival. In my draft strategies, as you've probably noticed if you've been watching other videos, I usually prioritize removal. Okay, well, Ravaging Blaze is very good. Throwing Knife is good. But I think our opponent to the right also opened up a Pain Land, which are good. I mean, I'll be happy to pick them up late if they come back to me. I do have a playset of Battlefield Forge actually, but I don't have a playset of a lot of them. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Ravaging Blaze. It's a good removal spell. We can kind of just move into the red-black archetype, which is mostly just sort of a red-black aggro deck, but there's the little sacrifice sub theme. And speaking of the sacrifice sub theme, we do have Fleshbag Marauder here. Claustrophobia is also very good. There's also an Unholy Hunger, so I may just pick up another 5-mana removal spell. Black, seems relatively open if Unholy Hunger and Fleshbag Marauder is still around, and those are both good. Claustrophobia and Topin Freeblade are also very good. These three, the Unholy Hunger, Claustrophobia, and Topin Freeblade, are probably the three best cards in this pack, I would say. But we're already in black, and like I said, it looks pretty open. Red looks okay-ish open, but this may have just been a weak pack. But both of these are playable, but not exciting. But we'll take the Unholy Hunger. So we're all removal so far. Well, Possessed Scab makes me want to consider moving into blue because it's that powerful. We do have an Enthralling Victor who can be good if we pick up Nantuko Husks and things like that. It's nice to have the Sacrifice Outlets. Fire Fiend Elemental's fine too. In most decks, probably better than the Victor, but in this archetype we can pick up Husks and other Sacrifice Outlets that are good. But this Possessed Scab, I don't know. I'm thinking about taking him. We may not move into blue. This pack isn't really strong in blue. There's a Scrap Skin Drake. It's really the only playable blue card in here. But the Scab's really good. It's just such good value. I don't know. Maybe I should just play it safe. Yeah, I'll stick red. Red seems open with the couple cards that were left there, so I'll just take that. Well, this pack is not especially exciting. Probably going to go with the Goldforge Sentinel. Act of Treason is good in this kind of deck, but I need to pick up a few Sacrifice Outlets before it's really good. Wild Instinct still being here probably means green's pretty open, but for now I'm just going to take the Sentinel. Yeah, Deadbridge Shaman is what we'll go with here. It's also good if we get some Husks. Our curve's so high right now too, so we definitely need to get some low drops, and the Shaman helps with that. Read the Bones is very good, and that's what we're going to take here. Titan Strength is good. Call of the Full Moon can be, but I don't think we want it. We'll go with Read the Bones. We do need to get some 1 and 2 drops, and ideally some Husks, since we're really in the archetype where we're going to get the most sacrifice effects. And the stealing effects too, I guess I should point out, like our Enthralling Victor. Well, Celestial Flare is still here, so white's pretty open. I think I'm going to take Return Centaur. He may not make the deck, but I think he's fine. He's not really exciting, but I think he's better than Infectious Bloodlust. Yeah, so we'll take the Centaur. Sadly, that lowers our curve a little too, so we do have really good removal at this point, but red is not looking super open. It may be something we move out of, depending on what we open in the next pack. If I see a late Evolving Wilds, that might be something I pick up. Black seems really open, but red not as much. I mean, we picked up the pick 2 Ravaging Blaze. Maybe should have picked up that Possessed Scab, all things considered. There's a Cobble Brute who's okay. That's probably what we're going to take here. Not exciting, but he's fine. He can trade up a lot of the time, and he's good with combat tricks and things like that. So, yeah, I mean that's another red card at least, but he's not nearly as good as Ravaging Blaze, and Enthralling Victor isn't nearly as good as Ravaging Blaze either, but probably better than a Cobble Brute. Let's see what we get. Yeah, I mean, if we open a bomb rare in some color that isn't red, I would probably just move into that color. Throwing Knife, I mean, we don't have a huge number of creatures yet, but Throwing Knife's good. I don't like Tormented Thoughts at all. I mean, I guess with Cobble Brute and with Deadbridge Shaman, it can be good, but you're still giving up 2 cards to make them discard 3 or 4 cards with Deadbridge Shaman. That's not, it's an okay rate, but it's not amazing. It's like the same rate as Mind Rot, which doesn't usually excite people, so that probably shouldn't excite you either. I mean, it is good with Enthralling Victor, but I have to have about 8 mana, I think, to available to Enthralling Victor, steal the dude, and then use it on their thing. Plus, it's not that good with Enthralling Victor because whatever creature he steals has to have 2 or less power, so you are mind rotting them in that case. You're giving up 1 card to make them discard 2. Okay, well these 2 guys came back around, and I do need some low curve things. If we get Nantuko Husk, Subterranean Scout has a lot of synergy with it, and I think we're bound to get Nantuko Husk, so I think I'd rather have the Subterranean Scout. I'll take a Catacomb Slug. Hopefully I don't play it, but it's not awful. If we end up in a more controlling build especially, it can be fine. Yeah, we may just be like main black and end up, because black seems pretty open, and end up splashing red, I guess, or something like that. I think Throwing Knife's actually really good. I think it's been undervalued in this draft, the fact that it was still around. Still, if I opened up a bomb in some other color, I'm not deep enough into red that I would regret like losing it. Alright, we will take an Act of Treason now. We really want Husks now, for sure. They're like better in our deck than in any other deck between Enthralling Victor and Act of Treason. The Treason probably won't get played if we don't pick up a couple Husks. Or Fiery Conclusion would work for me too. I'd be happy to get a Fiery Conclusion. Trying to remember the other sack outlets, but they're there. There are a few of them. The black-red gold card would be really good in our deck too. And if no one else is in our archetype, it should be reasonably easy to get. Blazing Hellhound, I think is what it's called. So both, yeah, that would be really nice to get one of them in here. Also be nice to get some lower curve removal. At this point, we can't do much removal-wise in the early game. I guess Throwing Knife's our best early game option. But so like, not Defeat, but the version of Defeat that destroys creatures with power 3 or less. Reef Soul, that's it. Would be nice. Okay, Majoring Responder is interesting. Of course, we got 2 gold cards, but neither of them is exactly what we want to be doing. So Evolving Wilds. I mean, I'm trying to decide between Majoring Responder, Evolving Wilds, and Read the Bones. This pack's pretty weak for us. I mean, I feel like we're going to be sort of a control deck. We have some late removal. I mean, we need to try to get to the late game with this deck, which is kind of hard to do in this format. So it makes me want to take the Responder. We've already got 1 Read the Bones, and it is very good, but I bet we see more of them. Evolving Wilds is worth considering, but I think I'm just going to take the Responder. I mean, he is 7 mana, but if he gets in play, he's pretty devastating. Ooh, yeah, Exquisite Firecraft. Definitely what we're taking here. Also, I'm in the process of building a budget standard deck, and it needs Exquisite Firecraft, so it'll be even more budget for me. That'll be my budget deck for August, will be one that features Exquisite Firecraft. And that's what we're going to take here. It's pretty obvious. Be nice if this Ghoul came back to us. It's usually good to have one Chandra's Fury in this format because there's so many Thopter tokens and things like that. Goblin tokens too, though not as many of them. But yeah, Exquisite Firecraft it is. And now Embermaw Hellion. Okay, well, red's looking better and better every moment. Glad we didn't abandon it. We got back-to-back good red rares. Lightning Javelin and Dragon Fodder would have both be nice to come back. Wouldn't be upset with the Malakir Coldblade either, but we'll take our Hellion here. He's pretty sweet. Just a 5-mana 4/5 with Trample, and whenever any red source does damage, it does 1 more damage than it would normally do, and we've got red sources of damage. 2 burn spells, for example. Prickle huh? I think I'd rather have Reeve's Soul. I was just talking about how I need those. Foundry of the Consuls is very good. For me, I'd say the #1 pick for me in this pack is Reeve's Soul, then Prickle then the Foundry. Like, that's the order I would rate them in right now for the draft. Conclave Naturalist is really good in this format. It also almost always hits something, and Farika's Disciple is as well, but we're obviously not in those colors, so we'll just Reeve some souls. Okay. It's interesting. Black is looking thinner now. I think we want another 2-drop. The Fire Fiend Elemental is good, but this format is really fast, and 2-drops are important. Even one that attacks every turn is important because at least it pressures my opponent some. So we'll take him. Pretty glad to get this Exquisite Firecraft. Like I said, not just... I mean, it's a great card in this format anyway. I would have taken it no matter what, but I need 4 of them, and now I've got 1 of them. I'm not sure about Mage Ring Responder anymore. I don't know. We'll see. It's a very cool card, though. Lots of 7s. Swings and nukes a dude, basically. There's not... I don't think there's anything in this format that survives 7 damage. At least not usually, not without a lot of stuff on it. Okay, ooh. Wow, that Bounding Crassus is pretty late. It's a very good card, but you do have to be in those 2 colors. So for me, it's between Gearcrafter and Skyraker Giant. And I think we want the Gearcrafter more than we want the Skyraker Giant. It's lower on the curve. We need that, as I mentioned. Infernal Scarring's fine, too. But there's 2 cards in here that are clearly better in Skyraker Giant and Gearcrafter. So we'll take the Gearcrafter. This deck's turned out pretty well. We're not exactly... We don't have a Husk yet, which is a little disappointing for me. And we don't have our gold guy, because of course we opened 2 others. Reeve's Soul is a pretty clear pick here. Black is continuing to look pretty open with the Reeve's Soul still around this late. So we'll take it. Although red, clearly from this side, red is much more open than it was in the first pack. Another active... Oh yeah, there he is. And a Husk. But I think the Hellhound's probably better than a Husk. And so I think I'm going to take it. Sweet thing with Embermaw Hellion is, I mean, you know, it may not happen, but getting Embermaw Hellion and the Blazing Hellhound in play is pretty awesome if you can, because you can sack a creature and then do 2 damage to things. So, like, active treasoning their guy and sacking it is pretty great. This guy came all the way back around. So did this Read the Bones. Kind of want the combat trick, I think, but no, I don't. I think I'd rather draw some cards. Let's get a Read the Bones in here. Yeah, I think our deck is becoming more and more aggressive, and Mage Ring Responder is looking less likely to make it. He's just such a mana sink. I mean, he is a very good blocker at worst, and he can blow. He's removal with the body, basically, but I think I like where we are. We've got some good removal, for sure. Yeah, I really don't like Dark Dabbling at all. I've seen some people say they really like it, but I think it's pretty mediocre, probably less than mediocre. It's probably an okay sideboard card, so I'm going to take it. Against an opponent with some effects, it's a good sideboard card. Okay, the Coldblade came back. Question is, do I want to... I think I'd rather have the Coldblade. He's just a nuisance for opponents once he starts getting big. Prickleboar also came back. I think we'll take it. What do we want in the last pack? I'd say like 1 Nantuko Husk would make me pretty happy. 2 would make me even happier. And yeah, Bloodsucker's probably not going to make our deck. We have these are both better 5-drops, I think. Infernal Scarring probably won't make our deck either. So Yeah. Looking pretty good, though. This Return Centaur is probably not going to make it anymore either. I took him thinking he may, but... Alright, well this pack is among the worst things we could open, basically, for us. Best card in the pack, I would say, is Bounding Crassus, followed by Wild Instincts. Stalwart Aven's good, too. Our rare is basically unplayable. Guardian, I mean, it's a pretty weak pack. I'd say almost half of it is like almost is near unplayable. I don't think Dabbling's especially playable. Chandra's Fury is okay, but it's mostly a sideboard card. Stalwart Aven's good, but like Nivix Barrier is not that great. Might of the Masses isn't that great. Macabre Waltz isn't that great. Psychic Rebuttal is not that great. And Tainted Remedy is just awful. I'm trying to decide between the Evolving Wilds or the Chandra's Fury. The Evolving Wilds could open us to a splash, potentially. Chandra's Fury can help us deal with Thopters, which is a thing. But I think I go with the Wilds. I'm probably going to see another Chandra's Fury, so we're just going to take Evolving Wilds. Ooh, gosh, Tragic Arrogance. Such a bomb. I mean, unfortunately, it's not very splashable as a double white with double white, but I think it's an amazing card. I think here we take another Dreadbridge Shaman. It's another really weak pack in our colors. Dreadbridge Shaman is definitely the best card in our colors, so we'll take it. It's also not bad with Blazing Hellhound, or like if we ever get a Husk. And we did see one, but we had to take our Exquisite Firecraft over it pretty clearly. Or was it in the same pack as Blazing Hellhound? That is what it was. So, but it made it around pretty far. They may just not have been many opened, I guess. What else would get cut? I think potentially Active Treason gets cut. It will be cut if we just have the Blazing Hellhound. Enthralling Victor will stay in. He's just good anyway. Not amazing, but good. Maybe solid's a better word. Definitely use some more 2-drops, that's for sure. Oh, Avaricious Dragon, you say? That's interesting. This thing still being here is interesting. It has a suppression bonds. White's pretty open in that direction. I think we got to take the dragon. He's not like super incredible. I mean, you have to have a good board state to play him. Like, you have to have already like emptied your hand for him to be any good. But there's nothing else super exciting in this pack. Firefiend Elemental's fine, but I mean, Avaricious Dragon's better, and Undead Servant is good if you can get a bunch of them, but we don't have any yet. So we'll just take the Avaricious Dragon. Fiery Conclusion does make me want to play Active Treason potentially, but there's a Fiery Impulse, and that's just better. Dragon Fodder's good too. Another Dreadbridge Shaman would be nice, but Fiery Impulse is the best card, period, in this pack, and we're happy to take it. Ooh, Fetid Imp. Oddly enough, even though it's a common, and I've played about 6 drafts now, I don't think I've played with the Fetid Imp yet. But I like him. I think he's very good. This may be my first time drafting black, so that might be why I'm trying to think. Another Enthralling Victor is interesting, but I don't really think we want it. I don't really like... I mean, Rabid Bloodsucker's fine, but... you know, not amazing. I think I'm going to take another Enthralling Victor. I don't know if it'll make our deck. For now, I'm going to put it in the sideboard. Another Prickle Board. Yeah, two of these guys have been going around, so that's a little scary for anyone who's in red-white. I guess we could try to splash them, but I don't think that's an especially good idea. Another Prickle Board maybe makes our deck. I think Prickle Board's pretty good. Another Fetid Imp or a sideboard card. I think we take the Fetid Imp. Yeah, I think we take the Fetid Imp. It's just really good. I think I'm just going to take the rare. It's not a card I have in my collection. And Macabre Waltz, it doesn't really excite me. It's okay, but I'm going to get Tainted Remedy. Our deck's pretty jammed packed already, so I can't imagine. Okay, another 2-drop may make our deck. I'm going to take this away from somebody since there wasn't really anything there for us. Got to think about trimming this thing. Maybe we lose Cobble Brute now. We do have a lot of 5-drops, which is a little concerning. We probably need to run 18 lands with that many 5-drops. We do have a lot of cheap spells too. Yeah, Dragon Fodder. That will come in place of one of the majoring bullies for sure. But we are going to need to trim this a lot. That's what I'm trying to I think we end up cutting one Prickle Boar to sort of make our curve lower. Maybe we cut the Goldforge Sentinel too. Still need to cut like a number of cards, so which is usually a good problem to have. I think we lose Act of Treason now as well. I think we keep, like I said earlier, the Enthralling Victor. Volcanic Rambler, I don't think I'm going to play him. He's all right, but our deck has much better cards than him in it. And if I'm going to run a 6-drop, it would be Goldforge Sentinel over a Volcanic Rambler. I'm kind of torn on the Avaricious Dragon. I kind of want to see how he plays. I have drafted one once before, but I only got it in play once. And he did draw me 2 cards, but I didn't really get like the full experience. And the lower our curve is, the better for Avaricious Dragon, really, because it lets us, not worry about holding on to spells. It just lets us draw a bunch of cards. So, okay. Yeah, I like the look of the deck. We definitely got some sweet rares between Exquisite Firecraft, Embermaw Hellion, and Avaricious Dragon. And I think I'm missing a rare. Maybe that's it, though. Those are 3 very good rares. I don't know if we want Evolving Wilds. So I think now that we've trimmed it how we have, I think we can get away with 17 lands. But we need to cut 2 more cards to make that happen. Let's group creatures separately. Probably going to cut a 2-drop of some kind, but maybe it's Throwing Knife. But it can be pretty good, like on a lot of creatures. This is basically a creature. That's not, however. I didn't mean to put it up there. So our removal is Exquisite Firecraft, 2 Reave Souls, a Throwing Knife. I mean, this is all removal except Read the Bones. That's pretty sweet removal, I think. I'm trying to decide whether I'd rather have... I mean, we do have a lot of good 2-drops now. Kind of leaning towards cutting another Majoring Bully. Maybe Subterranean Scout, actually, since we didn't pick up an Antuco Husk, which is what I was really thinking about with it. I mean, he's a fine 2-drop anyway, but I think I like the rest of them more. Yeah, I do. So that leaves us with 5 2-drop creatures, which is good. 3 3-drops, 4 4-drops, and 2 5-drops. I think they both stay. Maybe I cut Throwing Knife, and maybe... I mean, I like it a lot, but it's better when you have a lot of evasion, and we have 1 Thopter token and 2 Fetid Imps. And we do have a lot of removal that I think is better than Throwing Knife is. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Oh, that's weird. It combined the groups and then decided not to. Here we go. Combine groups. Sort by color. Yeah, so we're pretty even. We have a pretty even split. We do only have 1 double black, and it can be played late and still be good, whereas we have lots of double red that needs to be curved out to be at its best. Although Avaricious Dragon probably won't be curved out. I am interested to see how that goes with the Avaricious Dragon. It may end up being a crazy idea, but I feel like it can just draw so much gas that it's worth the try. I mean, you do have to hold on to them until your hand's empty, but So yeah, we're gonna run 9 8 9. Yeah, exactly what they're saying we should do, which doesn't happen very often. That's what we're gonna go with, and that's our deck. And I will see you for round.